'cause I'm the son of a third-generation farmer. I've been married 10 years to the farmer's daughter.
Good morning in Medina, good morning in Munich, home of the magicians. Thank you for making KFGO number one in the morning, number one all day long. The KFGO Morning Crew, Doug Leier, Amistadi, getting your Monday set for you.
And we'd like to spend Monday mornings at 6:40 talking consumer issues with KFGO Farm and Ranch Director Sarah Heinrich. Good morning to you, Sarah.
Hey there, crew. How are we all doing after our big Thanksgiving Day feast?
Well, it's kind of, it just feels weird. Like, it feels weird that it's Monday today. I don't know why.
I feel like a boa constrictor, like I'm still digesting from Thursday.
I would probably agree with that. I mean, I think that we all probably overdid it a little bit. I think for me, I feel like I'm just not there yet. Maybe it's because the weather has been so great that I'm like, why? I mean, Christmas and Thanksgiving was late this year, and I'm thinking it's the 1st of December already coming up. And so, yeah, it's all gone really fast.
December is going to go fast, no doubt about it. And yeah, get those leftovers finished up. I think today, otherwise we're supposed to freeze them, right, Sarah?
Absolutely. And so you should be making sure that you have them in the freezer. If you don't already, I mean, a lot of this stuff is really time sensitive. And so, I mean, if you made extra ham, if you made extra turkey, those kind of things, get that stuff in the freezer. If you have any salads, especially with like a mayo base or anything like that, probably about time to be throwing that away or be thinking about that. I mean, you do need to be careful because you have to remember that a lot of this food did sit out for an extended period of time on Thursday.
Sarah, with your young kidlets, I mean, were they chomping at the bit to start decorating for Christmas like 3 weeks ago, or did you hold them off for a little while? Have you got Christmas all set up already?
Doug, it's so funny that you bring this up. And so my little guy, our oldest, Luke, who is 4, has been so excited for Christmas, and he has been begging to do Christmas and begging to do Christmas. And so we actually did it yesterday later in the evening. And so we started about 5, I would say, and I think we wrapped up at about 8. And
Nice.
so he was so excited.
Oh,
Yep, so excited to put the tree up and the manger up and the garland up. And so he was overjoyed. I wish that, we all had that excitement for Christmas because it's just fun to see that.
I know, seeing it through the eyes of the kids, that's the best. Okay, so real tree or artificial tree in the Heinrich house?
We have artificial tree, and so we are with 54% of Americans, but 17% of Americans buy real trees. I grew up with a real tree, but we do have an artificial one now. It ended up just being a good after clearance buy type of a thing, and I ended up purchasing it because it was, dirt cheap, and it's actually lasted us like 6 years. It's been a great tree, but we are part of the 54% of America that has moved to an artificial tree. What about you guys?
Artificial, and we just upgraded the artificial that I got when the girls were really little, so that was over 20 years old. It was starting to shed more and more and more and more. So
it felt like a real tree. Did you put some maple syrup on there so you could have sap on the floor and that?
No, it was time to upgrade to a new tree. But growing up, just like you, Sarah, we grew up with real trees. My dad would just go up into the backwoods and come back with a horrible tree, and he always cut the top off of it. They finally switched to an artificial tree maybe, I don't know, probably 20 years ago in my mom and dad's house as well.
We do the fake tree. I'm similar. I grew up with the real Christmas tree. And I'd say it's got to be 10, 15 years ago that I switched over. And I don't want to go back. I mean, if you want the smell of pine, you can buy some sprays and you can spray pine all around the house like 5 times a day if you want that.
Or get a wreath for the front door. I used to do that because every time you come in, then you have that fresh smell if you have a real wreath.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't miss the pine needles.
And I would agree with that. We grew up with a lot of pine needles in the carpet because and my folks still do the real tree and still go to the effort. I miss picking out that real tree. That was always super fun and exciting as a young child, going in and picking out that real tree. But the thing that I guess that my biggest beef with the real trees are that, sometimes they dry out quick.
Right.
And so then you deal with that. They are more of a fire hazard. And, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you get them and you unwrap them and then they aren't exactly straight or
you might end
whatnot.
up with
so there's a little more challenges, I would say, with the real.
You might end up with a little tiny owl in it, like the national Christmas tree. Did you guys see that? The
No.
Sawet
No.
owl or
really?
whatever. Yeah, it ended up wherever they brought the tree into the into the nation's capital. A little owl hitched a ride.
Aw,
It was fine. It was fine. It was alive when they unwrapped it and stuff.
just decided to take a little ride. But when you think about 2020, what has 2020 given us? It's given us a lot of time at home. It's given us a lot of time to be, purchasing furniture and redoing our homes and doing all of these things because we are all spending a lot of time at our house. And so what do you expect to see a lot this year? Especially here in North Dakota, we're going to see more Christmas decorations. They are already saying that, we're going to probably see more Christmas decorations than what we saw in 2019, just because people are at home. They want to feel the Christmas spirit. I think people are wanting to feel that joy in their life, and people just have more time. And in North Dakota, we have had nice weather this fall, and that is something that we haven't had the last few falls. We haven't had a chance to get a lot of Christmas decorations up.
So, Bonnie, do you, you've got 20-something daughters. So I don't have 20 daughters.
No, they're in their 20s, is what you're trying to say.
Pony or anything like that in your house. But is that age generation kind of shifting back to wanting the real trees versus fake? Do they talk about that at all?
No, both girls have an artificial tree.
They do? Okay.
Smaller ones in their apartments, yeah.
I wasn't sure if maybe the up and coming generations want to go back to the traditional Christmas trees.
Yeah, I haven't heard that. I know Amy Eiler, she's a little past her 20s, but she still does a real Christmas tree.
She hasn't been in her 20s for a long time. Who are you kidding,
Be
Bonnie?
nice. She could be listening.
I hope so.
So I don't know. Have you heard any talk about the younger generation wanting real Christmas trees, Sarah?
I haven't heard anything about the younger generation in particular. I do know that there is a resurgence in it because, and this is probably more of the younger generation wanting to spend time outside, wanting to go on the hunt for that perfect Christmas tree, wanting to buy local, wanting to buy fresh, all of that. And so they do say nationally that there is a resurgence in people wanting to buy that real tree because people want the experience. And we've always bought from the Lions would set up a stand in Mandan. And so then we would go and we would buy that. And then obviously your money would go to charity and whatnot. And so we bought from a lot of those kind of things. And so I miss going and doing that because I remember that very, very vividly. And I always thought that was so much fun as a kid. And it seems like Americans are wanting that experience a little bit more. They're wanting to go on the hunt for the perfect Christmas tree themselves.
So did the boys, did they string up popcorn and put that around the Christmas tree?
No, we didn't do popcorn. We do lights. And so by the time that Luke got the ornaments on, though, last night, it was time for everyone to go to bed because there is an exceptional amount of ornaments at the bottom of my tree and not so many at the top of the tree. And they're all on the one side of the tree. And I looked at Richie and I said, you know what? We're just going to leave it, because this is how he wants it. This is how he decorated it. And that's just fine.
How about your little guy? Because when Logan was little, 18 months, 2.5, he broke so many decorations on my tree. I had a mechanical Santa and Mrs. Claus. He even ripped the glasses off there.
Oh, no.
He, play like Greek wedding, smash bulbs. He was kind of naughty. So is that going on in your house with your little guy yet?
The little guy could have cared less.
Oh.
Could absolutely care. He played with the vacuum that I was sucking up the pine needles with, so he could have absolutely cared less that was happening.
Oh, and if you would have made popcorn to go on the tree, I can imagine that the kids would be eating more popcorn than actually went on your tree.
Yeah, and sticking themselves with needles. And so it's probably a good thing that we decided not to string popcorn.
And you mentioned the decorations and people spending more time. As far as I'm concerned, those homemade decorations, whether they're made by you, family members, or you're buying homemade, locally made decorations, those are the best. I was pointing out to my kids some decorations that I actually made in kindergarten that are still hanging on my tree.
Oh, yeah, and I don't know if you are a part of any Facebook groups, but some people are so creative and so crafty out there, and they're selling those, and take advantage of those decorations. Those are absolutely gorgeous. The homemade ones can't be beat.
Yeah, and you're actually supporting small business owners when you do that, too.
Absolutely. I have quite a few Facebook groups where I'm thinking to myself, these people are really talented, and this is way better than anything I could find in the store.
Good stuff. Sarah, we'll catch you again about 7:25.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next hour.
You bet. That's KFGO Farm and Ranch Director Sarah Heinrich. We like to spend Monday mornings in Medina.